The first thing my brother did was laugh. Not a nervous laugh, not a confused one, a clean, confident laugh like he'd already won. "She's losing it," Ryan said, leaning against the kitchen counter. "I swear, Mom, she locks herself in that room all night like a psycho." The word landed wrong, not loud, not dramatic. Wrong in the way a glass slips off a table and you know it's already broken before it hits the floor. That was the first snap. If you've ever had family treat you like you don't matter, like your time, your work, your peace are optional, hit like. Subscribe. Stay here. These stories aren't entertainment, they're mirrors. And if this one feels familiar, you're not alone. I'm Lena Cross, 29, and the only quiet place in my parents' house was a 10 by 12 bedroom with a lock I paid for myself. Temecula, California. Beige walls, recessed lighting that hummed faintly when the dishwasher ran. A house that looked calm from the street and felt like a trap once the sun went down. I worked nights. Always had. Deadlines don't care about family dinners or mood swings. My laptop glowed on the desk pale blue against the dark contract's open numbers tight. I was 20 minutes from submitting a final deliverable when the pounding started. Not knocking. Pounding. "Lena, open the door." Ryan's voice. Sharp. Impatient. The kind of tone that assumed obedience before the sentence finished. I didn't answer. The pounding got louder. A fist, then a shoulder. The door frame shuddered. "I need cash," he said. "And the car. Now." I checked the time on my screen. 10:42 p.m. "No," I said. One word. Calm. Final. Silence for half a second. Then the insult volley. "God, you're selfish. You sit in there pretending to work while the rest of us actually live in the real world." I reached for my phone and tapped the screen. Click. The smart lock engaged. Ryan laughed again. That same laugh. "Wow. You hear that? She locked me out. You see this mom footsteps. My mother's. Quick, slippers slapping tile." "Lena, don't start," Marilyn said through the door. "What are you doing in there?" "Working." I didn't say it. Ryan filled the silence for me. "She's hoarding money. Won't help. Acts like she's better than us." My jaw tightened. My hands stayed steady. That was the second snap. From the other end of the hallway, a door creaked open. Soft footsteps. My grandmother's voice low-controlled. Ryan Ruth said, "Step away from her door." He ignored her. "You always do this," he snapped. "Hide. Avoid. Like something's wrong with you." There it was. The label. The setup. I opened the security app on my phone. Hallway camera. Live feed. Red dot blinking. Ryan leaned in close to the door. So close I could see his breath fog the lens. "Open it," he said quietly. "Or I swear I'll make them see who you really are." I hit record. Mom's voice sharpened. "Lena, you're being dramatic. Just open the door." That was the slap. Not his fist, not his voice. Hers. I said no, I replied. Ryan scoffed. "See crazy." The word echoed. My chest went cold. Grandma Ruth stepped closer. I heard the fabric of her robe brush the wall. "You don't get to talk to her like that." Ryan turned on her. "Stay out of it, Grandma." The hallway camera caught his face twisting. Red, animated, angry, perfect. I saved the clip. Then another. Cloud upload. Backup running. Inside my room, the only sound was my keyboard, and my heartbeat slow, deliberate. I didn't rush. I didn't shake. I learned a long time ago that panic makes mistakes. Silence doesn't. My phone buzzed. A text from Ryan. "You're going to regret this." Screenshot. Saved. Another buzz. From Mom. "Why are you doing this to the family?" That one stung worse. I didn't reply. I finished my work. Hit save. Sent the file. Deadline met. Barely. Outside voices rose and fell. Ryan pacing. Mom sighing. Dad still not home. The house smelled like dish soap and leftover pasta. Normal. Too normal for what was happening. Grandma Ruth knocked once. Soft. Respectful. "You okay, honey?" she asked through the door. "Yes," I said. A pause. Then quieter. "He's always been like this." "I know," I said. She exhaled. "Stand firm." The lock clicked again as she walked away. Minutes later, headlights swept across my blinds, doors slammed. My father's heavier steps filled the hallway. "What's going on?" Thomas asked. Ryan didn't miss a beat. She lost it, screamed at me, locked me out, wouldn't help. That was the third snap. I opened the door, not wide, just enough. My parents stood there together. Mom's arms crossed tight, Dad's jaw clenched, like he'd already decided. "You need to calm down," Mom said immediately. "You can't act like this." I stepped back and let them in. The room was clean. Orderly, desk neat, laptop open, no broken things, no chaos, just work. Dad scanned the walls, disappointed. "She's been acting unstable," Ryan added, hovering behind them. "I'm worried." I turned my laptop around, pulled up the hallway feed, hit play. Ryan's voice filled the room. Clear, loud, demanding. Dad's eyes flickered. Mom frowned. "Why are you recording us?" "I'm recording him," I said. Ryan scoffed. "You can't just spy on people. That's sick." Grandma Ruth appeared in the doorway like a shadow. I heard every word she said. "Don't lie." Silence thickened, the kind that presses on your ears. Dad cleared his throat. "You still shouldn't lock doors on family." "He has keys," I said, "and a car, and no right to my work." Mom's lips trembled. Her voice dropped. "You've changed," she said. "This job, it's making you cold." That was the final snap. Then she said it, the line that broke something clean in two. "If you keep this up," Marilyn whispered, "don't be surprised if people think you're dangerous." The room went still. I locked the door again after they left. The pounding came back an hour later. Harder this time. No rhythm, just force. Ryan didn't knock. He rammed his palm against the door like he wanted the hinges to remember him. "Open it," he said. "Now." I didn't move. The desk lamp cast a thin cone of light over my keyboard. The rest of the room stayed dark. My contract dashboard glowed quietly on the screen, countdown ticking. 48 hours to launch. Miss it, and the penalty clause would eat half the payout. Another slam. The frame rattled. "I'm not asking." Ryan snapped. "I need cash. 200. And the car. I've got somewhere to be." I inhaled through my nose, exhaled slow. "No," I said. That single word again. Calm, flat, silence, then laughter. That same laugh, like a match struck in dry air. "Wow," he said. "Unreal. You hear that? She's saying no like she's the parent." His knuckles scraped down the door. Nails. Deliberate. "You sit in there all night playing businesswoman," he went on, voice rising, "while I'm out here drowning. And you won't even help." I tapped my phone. Click. The lock re-engaged. Firm. Final. Ryan lost it. "Are you kidding me?" He slammed his shoulder into the wood. The sound traveled through the wall into my ribs. "You lock me out in my own house." Footsteps rushed up the hall. My mother again, breathless. "Ryan, stop," Marilyn said, but weak, distracted, half-hearted. "Tell her," he said quickly. "Tell her she doesn't get to treat family like this." I stayed silent. Silence makes people sloppy. "She's got money," Ryan added. "I've seen her transfers. She just doesn't want to share." That was new. Interesting. I opened the hallway camera feed, red dot blinking. Timestamp burned into the corner. Ryan leaned close to the door, his face, tight eyes shiny with something ugly. "You think this lock protects you?" he whispered. "I swear, Lena, I'll tell them everything. I'll make sure they see what you really are. Threat logged." Mom sighed. The sound carried through the wood. "Lena, you're making this worse." That sentence landed heavy. Familiar. "I said no," I replied. Ryan scoffed. "See, cold, heartless. She doesn't care." From down the hall, my grandmother's door opened again. Soft, careful. "That's enough," Ruth said. "Step away." Ryan turned on her fast. "Stay out of it." The hallway camera caught it all, his hands shaking, his jaw working, his voice sharp enough to cut. I hit record, then back up, cloud sync spinning. My phone buzzed. "Ryan, you owe me. Family doesn't say no. Screenshot. Another buzz. Different number. Dad's. What's going on? Your brother says you're acting strange. I didn't answer. Ryan's footsteps retreated. Fast. Angry. The hallway feed showed him pacing near the kitchen phone pressed to his ear. I zoomed in. No audio. Didn't need it. He was telling his version. I kept working. Numbers aligned. Legal language clean. No errors. I'd learned early if you're going to build something in a hostile house, you build it airtight. The dishwasher kicked on downstairs, a low mechanical hum. Plates clinked inside like distant bones. Another message came through, from Mom. Why won't you just help him? He's your brother. That was the hook he always used. Guilt dressed up as morality. I saved it. Labeled the folder. Date, time. The hallway camera showed Ryan gesturing wildly, now face-twisted words spilling fast. Performance mode. He loved an audience. My door shook again. Not as hard this time. More controlled. Lena, he said, voice syrupy. Fake calm. Let's talk. I didn't answer. I just need the car for an hour, he continued. And a little cash. I'll pay you back. A lie. Easy. Automatic. No, I said. That's when he snapped fully. You think you're smarter than everyone he spat, hiding behind screens, contracts, deadlines. You don't know how the real world works. I smiled once. Just a twitch. He had no idea. You think those papers protect you? He went on. They don't. Family matters more. Another line logged. My phone buzzed again. Ryan, if you don't open this door, I'm calling Mom and Dad back and telling them you're unstable. There it was. The word again. The seed he kept planting. I saved it. Triple back up. From downstairs, Mom's voice floated up. Louder now. Sharper. Lena, come out here. I didn't move. Ryan filled the silence. She won't. She's been weird for months, locking herself away, talking to no one. I'm worried. I leaned back in my chair. The leather creaked under my weight. That was the moment something clicked cleanly into place. This wasn't about money, or the car, or help. This was about control, and control hates evidence. I pulled up the timeline view. Every knock, every message, every threat. Neatly stacked, time-stamped, objective. The hallway camera showed my grandmother standing firm near the stairs, arms crossed, small but unmovable. Enough, Ruth said again. Go to your room. Ryan laughed at her. Dismissive. Cruel. Stay out of it, old woman. That one made my jaw tighten, but my hand stayed steady. He stormed off. Door slammed. The vibration rippled through the house. Mom's footsteps followed him. Her voice dropped low, urgent, defensive. The hallway fell quiet. I saved my work, uploaded the latest draft, deadline still breathing. My phone buzzed once more. Ryan, different tone now. You're tearing this family apart. I stared at the screen for a long second. Then I labeled the file Incident 02. The lock on my door stayed engaged. The light stayed low. Outside, the house settled into that fake calm it always wore after a blow-up, like nothing had happened, like it wouldn't happen again. I knew better. People who scream don't win. People who document do. And somewhere down the hall, Ryan was still talking, still spinning, still digging. He just didn't know how deep yet. I woke up to my phone vibrating against the nightstand, not ringing, buzzing, relentless. The kind of vibration that doesn't ask permission. Still half asleep, I glanced at the screen. Notifications stacked like bricks. Mentions. Tags. Missed calls. My stomach dropped before my mind caught up. I sat up the room cold, the early light barely leaking through the blinds. The house was quiet, too quiet. No footsteps, no dishes, no voices. I opened the first alert. A post. From my account. Lena Cross is a fraud. Hoarding money while family struggles. Selling lies wrapped in contracts. People deserve to know. My breath stalled. Below it, screenshots. Cropped. Context stripped. Numbers pulled out of place, framed to look sinister. Comments multiplying by the second. I hadn't written a single word. I was already moving. Laptop open. Fingers steady, heart loud. Email inbox flooded. 2 partners asking if everything was okay. One pausing collaboration until clarity. Another curt, formal cold. The launch dashboard refreshed. Status on hold, penalty notice blinking at the top. I stared at it. That was the moment the third snap didn't feel sharp. It felt hollow. I checked my login history. There it was. 3:12 a.m., local IP, unrecognized device. I didn't swear, didn't panic. Panic destroys evidence. I pulled up the router log, cross-referenced timestamps, matched the IP, Ryan's old laptop, the one he'd borrowed months ago, the one I'd stupidly trusted him with long enough to log into my email when his phone was acting weird. I exhaled slowly. That was the cost of family shortcuts. Another alert. The post had been shared again. People piling on, words like greedy, heartless fake, strangers diagnosing my character in real time. Down the hall a door creaked. The hallway camera flickered to life on my screen. Ryan's door cracked open. Light spilling out. His silhouette hunched over a desk, shoulders tight, fingers moving fast. He was still at it. I took screenshots, saved logs, exported session data. Then I closed every public-facing tab. I didn't respond, didn't explain, didn't defend. That was the fourth snap, but this one hardened into something useful. My phone rang. A name I trusted. Maya. She answered on the second ring, voice low, already awake. Tell me he didn't. He did, I said. He got in through the old email. Silence. Then keys clicking on her end. Fast, focused. Okay, she said. We do this clean. Don't touch the post. Don't message anyone. Send me the logs. Maya worked as a legal assistant, lived in timelines, evidence chains, things that held up under fluorescent lights and raised eyebrows. I sent everything, IP addresses, timestamps, device IDs. Good, she said after a moment. This is sloppy. He didn't even mask it. Another alert flashed. A contract termination warning, financial impact estimate scrolling at the bottom. I closed my eyes, counted to 3. Lena Maya said, This is harassment and unauthorized access. You have grounds. I know, I said. The hallway camera showed Ryan standing now, pacing, phone in hand. He looked energized, alive, like destruction fed him. A new message popped up. From him. See what happens when you don't help family? I screenshot it, added it to the folder. Downstairs, a chair scraped. My mother's voice drifted up, tired, confused. Ryan, she called. He answered too quickly. Yeah, I'm fine. Lie logged. My grandmother's door opened. Her footsteps were slow but deliberate. What's all this noise? Ruth asked. I didn't wait. I stepped into the hall, laptop in my arms. The house smelled like burnt coffee and last night's anger. Ryan froze when he saw me. For half a second his face flickered, guilt maybe. Then it hardened. Oh, he said lightly. Morning. I didn't speak. I turned the screen toward my grandmother. She adjusted her glasses, read the post, the comments. Her mouth tightened. You did this, she said. Ryan scoffed. She deserved it. That was the 5th snap. Get out of her accounts, Ruth said. Her voice didn't rise, didn't need to. Mom appeared behind her, hair unbrushed, eyes red. What's going on? Ryan jumped in fast. She's lying to people. I'm just telling the truth. I looked at my mother. Then I looked away. I didn't argue. I went back into my room, locked the door, documented everything. Maya called back. I've drafted a notice. Cease and desist. Also, I recommend you file an incident report. Not yet, I said. I want it complete. Outside voices rose. Ryan defensive, Mom wavering, my father still silent. The launch timer hit 0. A clean, brutal email slid into my inbox. Project suspended. Funds withheld pending review. I felt it then. Not anger. Loss. Not the money. The momentum. I sat on the edge of the bed, laptop heavy on my knees. The room felt smaller than it had hours ago. A knock. Soft. Respectful. Ruth's voice. May I come in? I unlocked the door. She stepped inside, closing it gently behind her. Looked at the screen. At my face. He's always been reckless, she said. But this? I nodded. She placed a hand on my shoulder. Warm. Steady. You're not wrong, she said. Don't let them make you think you are. Another alert buzzed. Someone had taken a screenshot of the post before it was flagged. It was still spreading. Maya texted. Platform reviewing. Might take hours. Hours was all it took to break something carefully built. I forwarded the final evidence packet. Labeled, indexed, clean. Ryan's footsteps thundered past my door. His voice rose, frantic now. "They're overreacting," he snapped. "I didn't mean to ruin anything. Too late. I didn't go online, didn't explain, didn't plead." I watched as doubt crept into my parents' faces, as my grandmother stood firm, as Maya prepared the paperwork. Outside my room, the house finally started to understand something had shifted. This wasn't a tantrum anymore, this was a crime. And somewhere between the buzzing phone and the locked door, the story stopped being about family. It started being about consequences. The knock would come next. Not from him, from someone who carried a badge or a clipboard or both. And for the first time since this began, I welcomed it. The knock came at 9:17 a.m. 3 beats. Even. Measured. Not angry. Not rushed. Official. I was already dressed. Laptop closed. Evidence folder open on my desktop cursor, blinking like it had been waiting. Downstairs, I heard my mother's voice before I saw anyone. Yes, she's upstairs. She's been unstable. The word again. I stepped into the hallway as a uniform filled the doorway below. Badge catching the light. Calm eyes. Notebook in hand. "Lean across," the officer called. "Yes," I said. He climbed the stairs slowly like he wasn't expecting resistance, like this was routine. "Officer Daniel Price," he said when we were face to face. "We're here for a wellness check. Your parents are concerned about your safety and the safety of others." My mother hovered behind him, arms wrapped tight around herself. My father stood farther back, hands in his pockets, jaw locked. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "I'm fine," I said. Officer Price nodded. "May we talk?" "Of course," I replied. "Please come to my room." That made him pause. Just a flicker. Then he followed. The room was quiet, clean, orderly. No broken furniture, no scattered pills, no warning signs. I gestured to the chair by my desk. He sat, opened his notebook. "What's been going on?" he asked. I didn't start with feelings. I turned the laptop toward him. "Yesterday at 10:42 p.m., I said my brother demanded money and my car. I refused. He threatened me. This is the hallway footage." I hit play. Ryan's voice filled the room, clear, loud, demanding, the pounding, the insults, the threat. Officer Price watched without interrupting. His pen stayed still. I clicked to the next file. At 3:12 a.m., my online accounts were accessed without authorization. Here are the login logs. IP address matches a device in this house. I pulled up the router data, highlighted the line. Here are the posts he made, I continued, and here is the financial impact, screenshots, emails, a suspension notice, numbers that didn't need interpretation. The room felt colder. Behind us, my mother inhaled sharply. "You recorded us," she whispered. "I recorded him," I said, "in a common area, for my safety." Officer Price looked at her then, a long neutral look. "Ma'am," he said, "your daughter appears organized and coherent." My father shifted, said nothing. From down the hall, a door creaked. Bare feet. A shuffle. Ryan appeared in the doorway, hair uncombed, eyes sharp. "What's this?" he asked. "You called the cops on me." Officer Price stood halfway out of his chair. "Sir, step back." Ryan ignored him, peering at the screen. "She's lying. She's been hoarding money, acting paranoid. She locked me out." Officer Price raised a hand. Firm. "Sir, back up." Ryan laughed, short, defensive. "This is ridiculous." The officer turned the laptop slightly so Ryan could see his own face frozen mid-shout. "Is that you?" Officer Price asked. Ryan's mouth opened. Closed. I was upset," he said quickly. "She provoked me." "And the account access?" the officer asked. "These logs show unauthorized entry." Ryan's eyes darted to my parents. "I was just trying to protect people," he said. "She's been acting dangerous." That was the line. Officer Price's tone changed. Hardened. "False reporting is serious," he said, "and accessing someone's accounts without permission is a crime." Ryan scoffed. "You're taking her side." "I'm taking the evidence," the officer replied. Silence fell like a dropped plate. My mother's face drained of color. She stared at the floor. My father rubbed the back of his neck, suddenly very interested in the carpet. Officer Price turned to them. "Ma'am, sir, this call was unnecessary," he said evenly. "Your daughter does not appear to be a danger to herself or others. In fact, she appears to be the one at risk here." My mother swallowed. "We were just worried." "Worry doesn't excuse false accusations," he said. Ryan took a step forward. "She owes me. Family helps family." Officer Price stepped between us without raising his voice. "Sir, you need to leave this room. Now." Ryan hesitated. "Now," the officer repeated. Ryan backed out, face twisted with something close to panic. The hallway door slammed. Officer Price turned back to me. "You have grounds to file a report," he said. "Harassment, unauthorized access, defamation." "I know," I said. "If there's further escalation," he added, "call us directly, not through a third party." He handed me his card. My parents stood frozen. "This stays on record," the officer told them. "I strongly recommend counseling, not law enforcement." He left without another word. The front door closed. The house exhaled. My mother finally spoke. "We didn't know." "You didn't ask," I replied. My father looked at me then. Really looked. His voice was quiet. "We should have listened." I didn't answer. I closed my door. Locked it. Inside, my grandmother was already waiting, standing by the window, like she'd always known how this would end. "Truth doesn't shout," Ruth said. "It waits." I sat on the edge of the bed. My hands shook now that it was over. Outside, the house stayed silent. For the first time, no one argued. No one defended him. No one called me unstable. The balance had shifted, and everyone felt it. The letter went out 2 days later. Certified. Tracked. No emotion in the language. Just facts, dates, amounts. Unauthorized access. Financial damages. Cease and desist. Maya had written it clean, sharp edges, no room to argue. I read it once, signed my name, slid it into the envelope. When I dropped it in the mailbox, my hand didn't shake. That surprised me. Ryan found it on the kitchen counter that evening. I heard the rip of paper from upstairs, the thud of his footsteps as he came down too fast. "You're suing me," he shouted. "Not asking, accusing." My parents stood frozen by the sink. My mother's hands were wet soap bubbles popping softly between her fingers. "It's not a lawsuit yet," I said from the doorway. "It's notice." Ryan laughed loud and brittle. "You wouldn't." My father spoke before I could. His voice was different now, lower, steadier. "She would," he said, "and she should." That was the moment Ryan realized something fundamental had shifted. My mother set the sponge down, slowly, like she needed to see her own hands empty. "We've seen the records," she said, "the transfers, the messages, the posts." Ryan's face tightened. "You're choosing her." "No," my mother replied. Her voice shook, but she didn't stop. "We're choosing reality." Silence hit hard. My father folded his arms. "This ends now. No more allowance, no more car insurance, no more covering for you." Ryan stared at him. "You can't kick me out." My father nodded once. 30 days. That number landed heavier than any insult. Ryan's mouth opened, then closed. He looked at me like he wanted to burn something into my face. I didn't give him anything back. That night the house sounded different. Boxes scraping, drawers slamming, music blasting too loud, then cutting off abruptly. Every noise felt like a tantrum echoing down empty halls. I stayed in my room, door locked, laptop open. The platform reinstated my account the next morning. The posts were removed. A formal apology notice went up, brief, impersonal. It didn't erase the damage, but it stopped the bleeding. I relaunched the project a week later, quietly. No announcement, no hype, just a clean release and a note to my mailing list. It sold out in 3 days, more than before. Not because of drama, because the work held. Ryan moved out on day 21, friends with a pickup truck, cheap furniture, a monitor wrapped in a blanket like it mattered more than anything else. He didn't look at me when he left. I didn't ask him to. The house felt lighter after, like someone had finally opened a window. 2 months later, I signed a lease. 1 bedroom, downtown, Concrete floors, floor-to-ceiling windows that caught the morning light just right, no shared walls, no footsteps outside my door. On move-in day, my grandmother came with me. She carried a thermos and a folded newspaper. "You earned this," she said, handing me the keys. I hugged her longer than I meant to. The first night alone was quiet in a way I hadn't felt in years. Not the tense quiet of waiting for a knock. The real kind. The kind that lets you breathe. I rebuilt the project from there. New timeline, new safeguards, new boundaries baked into every process. It grew fast, then steadier. By the end of the year, the numbers crossed 6 figures. I didn't celebrate loudly. I framed the first contract that had almost been destroyed and hung it by my desk instead. A reminder. My parents called more often after that. Apologies came in pieces. Awkward, careful. They wanted dinner, conversation, closure. I declined. Not angrily, not dramatically. Just no. One evening, a letter arrived forwarded from the old address. My mother's handwriting, soft curves, familiar. "We were wrong at Red. We see it now. We miss you. Can we start over?" I stood on my balcony and read it twice. Then I tore it into small pieces and let them fall into the street below, scattering like something already finished. I didn't feel cruel. I felt clear. Ryan popped up on social media once in a while. New job, forced smiles, uniforms, nothing dramatic, just consequences settling into place. I wished him nothing. That was new too. Some nights I'd sit at my desk city humming outside the glass and think about how close I'd come to losing everything because I stayed quiet too long. How silence without structure almost cost me my work. Boundaries fixed that. Not shouting, not explaining, not pleading, just lines that didn't move. On my desk now, there's only what I choose to keep my laptop a plant that needs very little water and the spare key to a place that's mine. No one knocks here unless I invite them. No one decides who I am but me. I don't need them to understand me. I only need them to stop destroying me. I don't need them to see my worth. I only need them to respect my boundaries. I don't need them back. I just need peace. I don't need them to agree. I only need distance. I don't need them to understand me. I just need them to stop breaking me. I don't need them to know my truth. I just need them out of my way. I don't need them to choose me. I already chose myself. I don't need them to understand me. I only need them to stop ruining me.